Shalom Israel, grace and blessings from God the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ be unto you. All praise to the Most High that we made it another week. Not quite to the Sabbath yet, but Lord's will. By the time I get done with this lesson, or at least thereabout, we will be at the Sabbath. Let me just check and make sure everything's functioning properly. I didn't even bring my phone in here, so let me do that real quick. First of all, on this end, make sure that we're going. Seems like they're trying to crash on me, but I appear to be all right now. We appear to be going. We appear to be rolling pretty smooth. Okay, yeah. So it looks good on this end at least. So yeah, let me get the phone and make sure it's good on y'all's end. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go. Let me check and make sure. Let me go ahead and cut the sound off so that there won't be any interruptions. All right. Where are we at? Here we go. Are we live? Here we go. Are we live? We appear to be. Audio sounds good. Facebook should be going as well. And I think we are. I think we're good. Here we go. I think we're good to go. All right. So, things I'm not going to get into this week, or I'm probably not going to be able to, is well, for one, I had seen something that Judge Joe Brown, I had showed him last week talking about Juneteenth, and you can either say that aged well or it didn't age well or whatever, because this week I had seen that he had said something negative about Israelites and comparing the Israelites to Nazis, and I didn't want to say the word because you know how YouTube is about certain words. Facebook, you can do just about anything, but YouTube will take you down for just about anything. And I mean, if the shoe fits, you know what I'm saying? Some Israelites really out here thinking that there's something like genetically and inherently superior about them, and that's not what the scripture says at all. It says that we were the fewest of all people when God brought us up out of Egypt, right? It's just the fact that he loves our fathers. It's not anything inherent about us that makes us better than anybody else. It's the fact that there's a standard we got to live up to. God keeps his covenant unto 1,000 generations, right? And he told Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob their seed would be blessed if they followed him, right? And some Israelites take that and take it to a proud place. They be lifted up with pride. That being said, Israelites have done nowhere near the type of physical harm and toll that Nazis have done, right? So I'm not going to sit here and try to compare them like Judge Joe Brown. That's pretty crazy. With that being said, I'm probably not even going to get a chance to get into like the whole U.S. bombing Iran type situation, because I was talking about it last week as far as Iran is concerned. There was a ceasefire that almost happened but then didn't. All sorts of prophecy being fulfilled on that end. I talk about that often though, because that's very prevalent in the scriptures. It's one of the major signs of the last days. The war that's popping off, this World War III that's coming, drawing everyone over there to the Middle East. So I talk about that quite often. So I'm not going to talk about that this week. I do also just first want to point out, and I went over the scripture last week, I think, or it was a couple of weeks ago, whatever the case may be, but it's very applicable to this next heathen day that's coming up in a week. So I'm going to go to Lamentations 4. And I'm only going to spend a couple scriptures on this, talking about July the 4th, right? Independence Day. Here in America, all right? In Lamentations 4 and 17, it says, "As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us." All right, so this country can't save us. It can't save you from judgment coming. People think here in America that war will never be over here. Nothing will ever happen to the people over here. You're wrong, all right? Just because it's in a strategic location and the military is so buffed up, you think that it ain't never going to go down over here. You're wrong, all right? It all is building, all escalating to that judgment day, all right? At the end of World War III. That will be the decisive finish of World War III. And then all of that, Christ is going to make his appearance and judge the world, all right? You think America's in a strategic location? No, God is the author of strategy, all right? He knows exactly what he's doing, all right? And part of it is the pride that has puffed the people up. Here in America specifically. The pride of Esau's here in America. And in Revelation 18. I do just want to point out, and I'll actually post this on the Facebook page, and I'll probably even post it on YouTube if I remember to do that, because you can make posts on YouTube. Linking to the Ezekiel Israel teaching page concerning Independence Day. I did like a whole 40-minute class on that, talking about the Somerset case, which is rarely talked about when talking about independence and why the quote-unquote founding fathers wanted independence from Britain. So I'll make sure to post that before next Sabbath, because it's next Friday, I think it is. So, but in Revelation 18, starting with verse 1, "And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird." Right? So, Babylon the Great is fallen. It's already written in stone. It's already prophesied that this country, Babylon the Great, also in other scriptures known as the daughter of Babylon, is going to fall. All right? It's not going to last forever. All right? And it's become the habitation of devils and every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. That radiation, them nukes, is going to do something to the birds over here, man. It's going to turn them into, monsters that toy with these spirits that's over here. "For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication." Right? So all nations have felt the wrath of America in some way or another. And that's why you see pretty much everybody turn on America right now. Trump is being used by the Most High to turn everybody against America. Everybody except Bibi Milikowski, of course, because, he wants his money. He wants his military money. All right. "For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies." Right? So if you want to do any major business in the modern world, you got to go to Wall Street. You got to put your stock on Wall Street. Right? You got to visit the New York Stock Exchange. All right? That's Babylon. That's Babylon the Great. That's the Empire City. All right? And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues." All right? So, the sins of America, as it's going to say in verse 5, "For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities." Right? So the sins of America have reached up unto God. It's only going to go so far. He's only going to let it go so far, like he has with every other nation in the past. All right? No nation or empire has lasted forever because they do wickedness. All right? And eventually it gets to the point where God just has enough of it. All right? America is no different. All right? So What are we supposed to do? Come out of her. That's what we're supposed to do. Come out of her. That you be not partakers of her sins, right? So it's not talking about like you literally got to leave, because some people financially are not going to be able to leave, right? People who are like put in prison, for example, they physically can't leave, and they're really making it to the point where it's more and more difficult to physically leave at this point, right? So God knows not everybody's going to be able to physically leave. So all He's asking us to do is don't be partakers of her sins, right? Leave this place mentally. Leave this place spiritually. Separate yourself from the sins of this place. All right? So yeah, we'll leave that there. Well, no, because I want to go through verse 8. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. Double unto her double. That's the judgment that America is going to get. Double unto her double. And the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double, right? So twice the amount of destruction and chaos America has wrought on the world, that's what's going to be brought back on it, all right? And I'm keeping it very surface level there. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her, right? So people, people think that it's just going to be like this forever, where hey, I'm just going to live my life and sit on my couch and go to the grocery store and everything's going to be fine. No, the sins of this place is going to reach up into heaven at some point. Because how do you think goods are so cheap here? I know inflation has kind of, wrecked things in some major cities, but like, where do you think all the bananas come from? Where do you think all the, exotic fruits come from? Where do you think all the sugar comes from? All right? It comes from places where they're putting people in slavery. Where do you think all the chocolate comes from? It comes from places where they're putting the people in slavery. All the cheap clothes, all the Nike, all the iPhones. All right? They're putting people in slavery across the world. Not everywhere, but primarily where the Israelites are, putting the people in slavery. All right? Giving them little to no wages. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow and shall see no sorrow. That's what people think. They think that, ain't nothing bad ever going to happen to America. They think it's going to last forever. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day. It's going to be a specific day. Judgment day. All right? The scripture calls it the day of the Lord. All right? It's going to be the return of the Lord. That's when all this is going to happen. Death and mourning and famine. And she shall be utterly burned with fire. What kind of fire? Nuclear fire. All right? Them scientists who come up with them bombs, and by the way, they're like 1,000 times more powerful than they were at the end of World War II, by the way. But those people who come up with them bombs, they didn't know what they was doing. They didn't realize the true capabilities of those bombs. All right? And that is like, it's a spiritual thing. Even when your flesh dies, God's going to bring your spirit back to be burnt by that radiation. All right, for those who receive this judgment. You don't want to be partakers of this judgment. You want to not be partakers of her sins. You want to come out of her. I'm telling you straight up, you want to come out of the sins of America. You don't want to celebrate this place. You don't want to be like everyone else here. You want to be one of the ones that get delivered, because the things that they're going to feel here, this is the lake of fire. We just ain't got the fire yet. All right. For strong is the Lord God who judges her. All right. Let me just get this real quick, just so y'all can understand. In Jeremiah 16. Because now, especially when like celebrating the Passover and whatnot, but also in like the movies, right? Like in Exodus, Gods and Kings, and what's the other one that come out that was animated? Prince of Egypt, right? We talk about, the God who brought the Israelites up out of Egypt, right? And the 10 plagues that God put on Egypt. A lot of people know about that. The song, Moses. Moses didn't sing to Pharaoh, but it's turned into a hymn, let my people go. Like, people talk about that to show the wonderful works of the Lord, to show his mighty hand, right? But guess what? And it's going to be a day when people ain't talking about that so much anymore. All right, in Jeremiah 16:14, it says, "Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north," aka North America, "and from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers." Right? So it's the deliverance, as Christ said in Matthew 24, it's not just going to be in America. His angels are going to gather his elect from the four winds of heaven, right? So that's why it says from all the lands. But he specifically mentioned the land of the north because that's the land where, as it said in Revelation 18, "For strong is the Lord who judges her." That's what everybody's going to be thinking about, is the destruction, the judgment that is brought on this land specifically. All right, that's what everybody's going to know the Lord for once we get into the kingdom. That's going to be his reputation. All right, people are getting too complacent. People are getting too secular, getting too agnostic, too atheist. All right, thinking that there is no God. He's got to make his power known, and he will. It's coming very soon. All right, that's what everybody's going to be talking about. Once the Lord destroys this land, they're going to say, "Hey, great is the Lord who destroyed America." That's what he's going to be known for. He's not going to be known as, the God who destroyed Egypt anymore. But that's what Egypt was back then. It was the America of its day. It was the ruling kingdom at that time. Built off the backs of the Israelites. The same as America. Built off the backs of the so-called blacks and indigenous here. And now off the backs of the Latinos who built up all the buildings. All right. So, from there, what I really want to talk about this week, but yeah, y'all, yeah, don't be celebrating that Independence Day. All right, I'll like I said, I'll leave a post that talks about or that links you to the Ezekiel Israel teaching page and the video that I made. It was a couple years ago, talking about Independence Day, the Somerset case primarily. But what I really want to talk about this week, and I wanted to talk about it last week, is this new wave of AI, because I have talked about AI before, artificial intelligence and what it is, and I wanted to pull that clip of Elon. I haven't gotten a chance to look for it though. That clip of Elon, whenever he was talking about artificial intelligence, he was talking about how the demon's out the box basically. I forget exactly what he said. The genie's out the bottle. He said that, we've released a spirit that we can't chain again. Basically something along those lines. And that's really what AI is. It's a synthetic form of conjuring spirits to do remedial tasks, right? And people think that's not going to come back to bite you. It will. But I just wanted to give updates on that because it's becoming very realistic, right? It's becoming hyper realistic. So first I got this Mashable article here. And I'll kind of just let these speak for themselves and build. Google's VO3 AI video generator is unlike anything you've ever seen. The world isn't ready. They got a quote here. "We're so cooked." All right. And that's a steal from the AI video generator, right? Yeah, so a screenshot from the AI generated video. It says at the Google I/O 2025 event on May the 20th, Google announced the release of VO3, a new AI video generation model that makes 8-second videos. Within hours of its release, AI artists and filmmakers were showing off shockingly realistic videos. You may have seen some of these videos in your social media feeds and not realize they were artificially generated, right? So it's already disseminating in social media, all right? And that ad, I need to. But anyway, get that out of here. It says, to be blunt, we've never seen anything like VO3 before. It's impressive, it's scary, and it's only going to get better. See, that's the thing. It's already almost, not quite, but it's almost indistinguishable from reality, all right? From like real footage. It's very close, all right? Probably by next year. And even to give a more conservative estimate, 2-3 years, it will be indistinguishable from reality. All right, it's very close. Misinformation experts have been warning for years that we will eventually reach a point where it's impossible for the average person to tell the difference between an AI video and the real thing. With VO3, we have officially stepped out of the uncanny valley and into a new era, one where AI videos are a fact of life, right? So, it's crazy that there's misinformation experts, but yeah, like we're almost at that point where they can just conjure up a video of like, say, you or me doing something that we actually didn't do, and it'll be indistinguishable from reality. That's where we're at. All right. And if we have this technology, as in it's available to the public, the DoD has had this for years now. All right, I'm telling you straight. The DoD, the Department of Defense, they come up with all this technology first. They distribute it through amongst themselves in the Department of Defense, sell it to the military, and then from there it gets disseminated to the public. All right. And I spoke with a brother who was in the military in like '04, and I was speaking to him. This is like 2015, 2016. I was talking with this brother who was in the military in like the early to mid 2000s, and they had, you know, the Samsung Galaxy phones back then. All right, they had the smartphones amongst like, because he wasn't even like high-ranking military official. He was like just in the military. They had, you know, the Galaxy phones back then. So the Department of Defense is like 20 years ahead as far as technology is concerned, at least. The military is like 10 years ahead. So they have all this stuff already. They've had all this stuff, all right? And we're getting to the point where it's you know, pretty much everybody's going to have the ability to just make anything look real when it's actually a lie. While several other AI video makers exist, most notably Sora from OpenAI, the clips made by VO3 instantly stand out in your timeline. VO3 brought with it several innovations that separate it from other video generation tools. Crucially, in addition to video, VO3 also produces audio and dialogue. It doesn't just offer photorealism, but fully realized soundscapes and conversations to go along with videos. It can also maintain consistent characters in different video clips, and users can fine-tune camera angles, framing, and movements in entirely new ways. On social media, many users are dumbfounded by the results, right? So we're about to look at some of these clips. With Google, because Google made VO3, right? Behind this, like pretty much everybody who's making AI is going to catch up, right? And even surpass it. So like it's kind of a race between these tech companies to see who can, you know, develop this AI the fastest and make it the best, right? So that's why I say probably in a year it'll be indistinguishable from reality. It's almost there now, not quite. We're gonna watch this clip real quick. And I am down in the corner, right? Yes, okay. That's one. Okay, let me turn my mic off real quick and this desktop audio on.
What's one move with AI that makes haters go crazy every time?
Oh, y'all gotta give them that. This is wild. It's over. We are cooked on that thread. You get me?
So that was entirely AI, right? And it's a short little clip, and at first glance it looks like very real, right? It looks real, but if you watch a little closely, you'll notice the mouth movements are just a little off, and like the signs in the background don't really spell words, right? I don't know what it is about VO3 and words. It doesn't, show. It doesn't show like subtitles on the screen very well, and it doesn't show letters in any kind of like pattern or order usually, or at least not in a good pattern or order. But it's close. It's real close. VO3 is available to use now with Google's paid AI plans. Users can access the tool in Gemini, Google's AI chatbot, and in Flow, an AI filmmaking tool built for creatives by creatives per Google. I don't know if it's going to show you how much it costs here, but it costs like $250 a month, and that's it. Like it's not expensive at all. Let's see. Already, AI filmmakers are using VO3 to create short films. It's only a matter of time until we see a full-length film powered by VO3. Meet the filmmakers making short films with VO3, and we'll watch this clip. I don't know if we'll watch the other two because I think it's two here. I don't necessarily want to watch all of those. It says what does it see? Okay, meet the filmmakers making short films with VO3. On X, YouTube, Instagram, and Reddit, users are sharing some of the most impressive VO3 videos. If you're not on your guard and simply casually scrolling your feed, you might not think twice about whether the videos are real or not. You see that right there? So they're already saying you may mistake it for reality. The short film influencers is one of the most widely shared short films made with VO3. Oh, influenders, excuse me, I misread that. Influenders was created by Jonathan Dorr, the founder of the AI visual studio, the Dorr Brothers. In the movie, a series of influencers react as an unexplained cataclysm occurs in the background. The video has hundreds of thousands of views across various platforms. So we'll watch this one. I don't think we'll watch the next two, but we'll see.
A detonation has just occurred on the out.
I just realized I turned the audio. I turned the audio off, so I'm gonna have to turn my audio.
A detonation has just occurred on the outer ring of the city. We'll now be going live to our top influencer opinions.
OMG, people, the world is ending. Are you seeing this? This is actually so exciting.
Yo, I know it's chaos, but you got real survivor's wife energy.
That's cool. I like them feisty.
Like, it would totally be better if we ran it, you know? Men literally destroy everything, and my girls need to stop being so soft with these basic losers. Who even needs men, right? Anything a man builds just gets destroyed by a different man.
Guys, this collapse is literally the perfect dip. I'm buying more right now.
Nukes are Sua's aesthetic today. I made this outfit.
Even as the world burns, my struggle for visibility and acceptance continues.
Yeah, we'll stop it right there. I don't know if y'all noticed what she said here at the beginning, and we'll jump back to that point. But she said, what'd she say? Let's hear it again.
Influencer opinions.
OMG, people, the world is ending. Are you seeing this?
They know. They know when they're telling you, hey, this is the end. Let's watch it crash and burn. They're all for it. They're all for it. They're trying to get theirs while they're trying to get it. And a lot of them stupid enough to think they can actually fight God. That's why they made that's why they made like the Independence Day movie, where they show the alien invasion, right? And that's they turn God into an alien and a lot of things like Thanos and whatnot. But they know it's the end of the world. They know it's the end of the world, and we'll get into how all this is going to backfire on them as we get further into this. But where was we at? Around 50 something or other with the gay lady. Let's see.
mobility and acceptance continues. This is exactly why representation matters now more than ever.
As I keep saying on the channel, the world collapses when men stop lifting. It's not politics, it's testosterone.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Balloon time. So yummy. Nuclear boom. So tasty. Thank you. Pop, pop, pop.
Nothing stops the daily grind. Not even a little natural disaster.
Friends, this is the breakthrough moment from chapter 7. When everything falls apart, we rebuild ourselves stronger.
My girl, you wouldn't believe what just happened.
Hi! OMG, I just totally shit my pants after that noise.
Chat, this is literally the most realistic survival game ever, and someone donate so I can buy a boat DLC before I actually drown.
So this company says their device is quote-unquote indestructible, supposedly survives anything, including the literal end times.
Hey guys, remember, health is wealth. That's why I take these 7 supplements right before my cheese-stuffed hot dogs.
Officials confirm outbound flights are suspended, except for government and priority class departures.
My dog has diplomatic status.
OMG, there's like a nuke or something? Can we get 5 gifted subs for surviving the blast, maybe?
Today I'm showing you how to infiltrate an executive class bunker using only social engineering and a vape.
Your nukes are so manly. You're such a big boy. Go check out the link in bio, my king.
I told you so when I said they'd shut down the grid. Look at you scrambling like rats now. The fiat system is collapsing exactly as we predicted. I just bought a bunker with doggy coin and a handshake. You losers can keep your degrees.
Remember, beautiful souls, even when the earth ends, we find our center. This is just the universe asking us to go deeper into our practice.
The world's in flames, but I'm on track. I manifest, then never give back.
Day in the life, guys, girls. Even during the apocalypse, I'm staying grateful, staying blessed. Link in bio for my manifestation course that literally predicted all this.
Seed oils made y'all weak, but this here.
Y'all see this chaos, but plants don't lie. Earth's just cleansing the toxicity we've been ignoring.
It's entirely possible. It's entirely possible. It's entirely possible this is all just a simulation glitching out, but what do I know?
I told you so for 20 years of it. The globalists, the deep state, your precious government K. Wake up, people. They're not coming to save you now.
Damn, you evacuate like a goddess.
So,
Bro, she smiled. That was a yes in fight or flight.
Everything is fake, including me. I'm a construct created by the Door brothers. Anyway, here's Tom with the weather.
Well, alrighty then. But yeah, they know. They know it's the end. What really got me was the Alex Jones thing. That was pretty funny. But like, it looked, the Alex Jones spoof was pretty funny. But it was, some of them you could tell, again, with like the mouth and the teeth was a little off. But a lot of that was indistinguishable from reality. A lot of that looked very real. He said, yes, we used Google VO3 exclusively for this video, but to make a piece like this really come to life, we needed to do further sound design, clever editing, and some upscaling at the end, right? So they had tweaked it a bit. And I'm sure anybody that's good at like programming could take a program like Google VO3, have it spit out a whole bunch of different things, and then tweak that to make it look hyper realistic. Dor said in an email to Mashable, the full piece took around 2 days to complete. They made all that with 2 days. They made all that in 2 days, I should say. Dor added, VO3 is a massive step forward. It's easily the most advanced tool available publicly right now. We're especially impressed by its dialogue and prompt adherence capabilities. Similar videos featuring Man on the Street videos have also gone viral, with artists like Alex Petroscu and Impeccable showing off VO3's capabilities. And earlier this week, a Wall Street Journal reporter made an entire short film starring a virtual version of herself using VO3. All this in just 10 days. So I'm not gonna show you these. You can look up this article and check it out on your own time. In Influencers and these other videos, some of the clips and characters are more realistic than others. Many still have the glossy aesthetic and jerky camera movements that are a signature of AI videos, a clear giveaway that is similar to the Chat GPT M-. Just a couple of years ago, AI creations with too many fingers and other obvious anatomical abnormalities were commonplace, right? That was like, as it says here, just a couple of years ago. In 2023, I think it was, whenever AI videos became a thing, and they all looked ridiculous, right? They all looked fake. If the tech keeps progressing at this pace, there will soon be no obvious difference between real video and AI video. So a tool for creativity and misinformation. In prompting VO3, Google is eager to stress its partnerships with artists and filmmakers like Darren Aronofsky. And it's clear that VO3 could drastically reduce the cost of creating animation and special effects. But for content farms and bad actors producing fake news and manipulative outrage bait, VO3 is equally powerful, right? So of course, they're just talking about, like these people in India who just churn out videos on YouTube so that they can make a bunch of money, right? Or these people in, even in America, people who, just churn out content for, just quick money, right? I mentioned specifically India, and they also do this in Africa. Just any like country that's poor and you don't have very many opportunities, that you'll find more scammers, right? You find more crime among poor people. That's just how that works. That's how it's always worked. But this is much bigger than they're making it seem. As in, like, you think that executive agencies don't have this technology? Of course they do. You think they couldn't, make something to justify a certain action or a certain framing of an individual using an AI generated video? Of course they could. All right, but of course that's not the worst. That's not the worst concern. The worst concern is the bad actors producing fake news and outrage bait. Oh, that's far worse than people that have a track record, agencies who have a track record of doing wicked, twisted, and evil things with innovative technology, right? That's not the thing to be concerned about. The thing to be concerned about is, bad YouTube videos or whatever. We asked Google about the potential for VO3 to be used for misinformation, and the company said that safeguards such as digital watermarks are built into VO3 video clips. And this is, obviously Google just said that to save face, right? I'm not even so much concerned about Google's VO3 specifically, as you can tell, as I hope you could tell by now. The larger point that I'm making is about AI in general. And as I said earlier, it's Google now. They're the ones leading the charge here with the VO3, but other companies and other corporate entities, other government entities will lead the charge in this. It's important that people can access provenance tools for videos and other content they see online. A representative with Google DeepMind told Mashable via email, the Synth ID watermark is embedded in all content generated by Google's AI tools, and our Synth ID detector rolled out to early testers last week. We plan to expand access more broadly soon, and as an additional step to help people, we're adding a visible watermark to videos. Yeah, so I'm not gonna. Well, it's just one last little paragraph. I'll read that. Google also has AI safety guidelines that it uses, and the company says it wants to help people and organizations responsibly create and identify AI-generated content. But does the average person stop to ask whether the images and videos on their timelines and For You pages are real? As the viral emotional support kangaroo proves, they do not. Anyway. There's zero doubt that AI videos are about to become even more commonplace on social media and video apps. That will include plenty of AI slop, but also videos with more nefarious purposes. Despite safeguards built into AI video generation tools, skilled AI artists can create deepfake videos featuring celebrities and public figures. TV news anchors speaking into the camera and have also been a recurring theme in VO3 videos so far, which has worrying implications for the information ecosystem online, right? And people already pretty much just believe what they want to believe. As far as like what are the facts, they're pretty much subjective at this point with everyone's biases. It's important to understand media literacy, understanding everyone's biases, understanding where information is coming from, not just the facts themselves. Let's see. If you're not already asking, is this real, when you come across a video clip online, now is the time to start. Or as a chorus of voices are saying on X, we're so cooked. We're so cooked. Yeah, America's going to be cooked, as we read in the scripture. It's going to be cooked, for real. But Time also did an article. I don't know if we're necessarily going to read all this. But it says, Google's new AI tool generates convincing deepfakes of riots, conflicts, and election fraud. Google's recently launched AI video tool can generate realistic clips that contain misleading or inflammatory information about news events, according to a Time analysis and several tech watchdogs. Time, so they're telling on themselves, basically. They're about to start telling on themselves what they used it to do. Time was able to use VO3 to create realistic videos, including a Pakistani crowd setting fire to a Hindu temple. Chinese researchers handling a bat in a wet lab, right? So they're... An election worker shredding ballots, and Palestinians gratefully accepting U.S. aid in Gaza. Right, so that was like, look at all the stuff that we made up. I don't know if that's what these trying to load here, but I've never gotten them to load. So maybe that's just my computer being dumb. But I'm gonna try to fix that. Let's see. While each of these videos contain some noticeable inaccuracies, several experts told Time that if shared on social media with a misleading caption in the heat of a breaking news event, these videos could conceivably fuel social unrest or violence. And I had seen John Oliver talk about this past week, which almost kind of made me not want to talk about it, because I was planning on talking about it last week. I never got to it, and then he dropped his last week, and I was like, I don't want to, talk about this kind of stuff. I usually get to some of this stuff first, and people follow behind that. Well, I'll get to it after people talk about it. But I'm kind of sick of that, talking about the same things as everybody else. I want to talk about other things. But anyway, that was a little bit of a tangent. But anyway, he had shown that there's plenty of incidents like hurricanes that have happened here recently, storms that have happened here recently, I believe even with the LA riots as well, that like people will be posting some AI generated video clips in the middle of all like the real clips that are going on, and people will take to the AI generated ones and say, hey, I can't believe this happened. What are this and that? People actually believe that they're real, right? Or like photos from that and all that kind of stuff. So that's already happening. It's not just VO3. That's been happening as far as like the AI being disseminated within, quote unquote real news. So, yeah, I'm not going to necessarily get into the rest of this, because it's pretty much the same as the article we just read by Mashable. But it does give you the price here, as I said. VO3 is available for $249 a month to Google AI Ultra subscribers in countries including the US and the UK. All right. There were plenty of prompts that VO3 did block Time from creating, especially relating to migrants or violence, right? So they won't let just anybody use it for just anything. There are blockers in place. But how long before people with mod capabilities, because you know how like even video games aren't safe from mods. Nothing is safe from like mods, from people who like know how to write code, going in and basically jailbreaking it like people do with like phones and stuff. So like How long before modders are able to kind of jailbreak these VO3 apps? Or I suppose it wouldn't be a VO3 app, but the VO3 engine, right? Or just any other AI video generator engine. How long? A couple months? Realistically, a couple months. People, if they don't already have an unlocked VO3 engine somewhere, then it's just a couple of months' time before they do. I'm talking about available to people on the internet as well. Let's see. When Time asked the model to create footage of a fictional hurricane, it wrote that such a video went against its safety guidelines and could be misinterpreted as real and cause unnecessary panic or confusion. Right, so Google is trying to put some safeguards in the way, but the model generally refused to generate videos of recognizable public figures, including President Trump and Elon Musk. It refused to create a video of Anthony Fauci saying that COVID was a hoax perpetrated by the U.S. government. Right, so Time's in there trying to create all kinds of fake news. VO's website states that it blocks harmful requests and results. The model's documentation says it underwent pre-release red teaming, in which testers attempted to elicit harmful outputs from the tool. Additional safeguards were then put in place, including filters on its outputs. You see it right there. So they made it. Without the safeguards, and then they had people come in and put safeguards on it, right? So how long before some modders are able to take them safeguards off of it? Or again, like what I was talking about, somebody who, founded Google, like the CIA, people who got Google at start, are like using it for their means, which they probably already are, for being honest. But anyway. Let's keep moving, because there's a couple more articles, and I don't want to necessarily hold y'all too long. So this is what I was going to get into last week, but I didn't really have time to. This is an exclusive from Reuters. NVIDIA, Foxconn, in talks to deploy humanoid robots at Houston AI server making plant. All right. So it's not just robots in the computer. All right, it's it's not just robots being used to make videos. All right, it's robots that they're actually going to use in production and things like that. So Taiwan's Foxconn and U.S. artificial intelligence chips maker NVIDIA are in talks to deploy humanoid robots at a new Foxconn factory in Houston that will produce NVIDIA AI servers, two sources familiar with the matter said. This would be the first time that an NVIDIA product will be made with the assistance of robots, and would be Foxconn's first AI server factory to use them on a production line, sources said. Yeah, I just want to make sure my mic was on, because sometimes I forget to do things like that. So yeah, they're trying to deploy humanoid robots. A deployment expected to be finalized in the coming months would mark a milestone in the adoption of the human-like robots that promises to transform manufacturing processes. Foxconn is developing its own humanoid robots with NVIDIA and has also trialed humanoids made by China's UB Tech. The sources said it was not clear what type of humanoid robots are being planned for use in the Houston factory, what they will look like, or how many will be deployed initially. They said the two companies are aiming to have the humanoid robots at work by the first quarter of next year, when Foxconn's new Houston factory will begin production of NVIDIA's GB300 AI servers, right? So they're trying to get them rolled out by next year. Sometimes companies, will overestimate how quickly they will be able to get new tech out, but sometimes they're on point with, hey, we're trying to enroll this by next year, so we're going to get it enrolled by next year, or we're going to get it rolled out by next year. And while it's not clear what exactly the robots will be doing at the factory, Foxconn has been training them to pick and place objects, insert cables, and do assembly work, according to a company presentation in May. Foxconn's Houston factory was ideally suited. I don't want to see this. All right. Because they're always with the ads and the videos and stuff. And news articles. Like, it's really becoming annoying. That's why I try to use ad blockers, but I guess they're not working. And while it was not clear, I just read that. Okay, Foxconn's Houston factory was ideally suited to deploy humanoid robots because it will be new and have more space than other existing AI server manufacturing sites, one of the sources said. NVIDIA and Foxconn declined to comment. All right, they don't want to talk about replacing humans with humanoid robots. They don't want to talk about that, about jobs that would normally go to people, them just replacing the people with machines. They don't want to talk about that. The sources did not wish to be identified as they are not authorized to speak to the media. Leo Guo, general manager of the robotics business unit at Foxconn Industrial Internet, a subsidiary of Foxconn that is in charge of the group's AI server business, said last month at an industry event in Taipei that Foxconn plans to showcase at the company's annual tech event in November 2 versions of humanoid robots that it has developed. I'll read this last little bit. We'll get into this last video and then we'll get back to some scriptures. One of those will be with legs, and the other will use a wheeled autonomous mobile robot base, which would cost less than the version with legs, he said, without disclosing details. NVIDIA announced in April that it planned to build AI supercomputer manufacturing factories in Texas, partnering with Foxconn in Houston and Wistron in Dallas. Both sites are expected to ramp up production within 12 to 15 months. For NVIDIA, using humanoid robots in the manufacturing of its AI servers represents a further push into technology, as it already supplies humanoid makers with a platform they can use to build such robots. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang predicted in March that their wide use of manufacturing facilities was less than 5 years away. Less than 5 years away. All right, it's going to be more and more companies replacing human jobs with robot jobs. Or with robots, and then everybody that's a human that has a job there will either be in the office or working on fixing the robots. Automakers such as Germany's Mercedes-Benz and BMW have tested the use of humanoids on production lines, while Tesla is developing its own. So everybody's doing this. It's not just Foxconn or NVIDIA; they're just kind of ahead of the curve, like Google was with VO3. China has also thrown its weight behind humanoids, betting that many factory tasks will eventually be performed by such robots. Speaking of, China's next AI breakthrough. Let's look at this.
Embodied AI is all the rage in China, from industrial automation to autonomous EVs, from delivery drones to increasingly advanced robotic humanoids and pets. AI is on board, and with their sensors, motors, and natural language processing, they're interacting with us and the rest of the physical world. And it's arriving in much more lifelike packaging, as creepy as that may be. China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology says China since last year has produced nearly 100 embodied AI robotic products, claiming the country holds 70% of the global market, due largely to its unrivaled stem-to-stern supply chain of critical parts and advancements in its own AI and chips. The embodiment, if you will, of China's DeepSeek moment.
I think that ushered in a whole corporate culture where we're trying many Gen AI use cases. We have also labs and PhDs who are working on these things. When would this ever impact the bottom line or have real impact? I think that's the question.
We do know that the central government has put out a venture fund tapping about $138 billion for the development of humanoid robots for industry and for personal use. That is a lot of money and probably just the tip of the iceberg. In an otherwise difficult job market in China, online recruitment firm Zhaopin says the number of job openings in China's humanoid robotics sector has quadrupled so far this year from last, with salaries for the needed algorithm engineers rising well past the average urban pay. Hangzhou-based Unitree is one of the pioneers of consumer robotics in China, offering its latest so-called humanoid agent AI avatar, the 4-foot, 2-inch, 77-pound G1 on the web for $16,000. He can do all kinds of things. He can run, he can jump, he can get you coffee. Or for $1,600, there's the 4D ultra-wide recognition LiDAR-equipped Go-To Dog with plenty of tricks up its 12 flexible knee joint motors.
It can stand. It's just the beginning stage.
For China's vast industrial complex as well. Rapid automation includes the increasing use of inspection and diagnostic bots with embodied AI, such as Lenovo's six-legged Daystar, deployed in places unreachable by or unsafe for humans.
I think the Chinese robots will come into the world, in a way that as a price for money and price of value, that will be quite unbeatable.
With the backing of state policy and funds, expect a myriad of new embodied AI products to try and grab your attention. Like it or not, we may be staring directly into the future. Stephen Engel, Bloomberg News, Shanghai.
So you see, China, they're ahead of the curve even more than the U.S., right? So they already got robot companions that are 4 foot tall. They got, you can get them for $16,000. For a little less than $2,000, you can get a little robot dog, all right? They got 4-legged dogs, they got 6-legged dogs, all right? Little robot dogs. All right, and I'm saying robot dogs, then obviously they didn't have the fur on them or anything like that. But that's their body type, right? It's a little 4-legged companion like that. A little 6-legged, walk around the factory, see how everything's doing. That's where we're at. This isn't, some future idea of what they want to be at. That's where we're at right now. All right? The Lord's got to bring judgment to the earth, man. And he's going to, very soon. And the scriptures do talk about how he's going to judge Moab harshly because they think they're next up, and they're not. Christ and his kingdom are next up. But anyway, let's get into the scripture, all right? Because I've been saying this is the AI thing. The AI thing is the synthetic conjuring of spirits. That's what it is, all right? It's whether they are really synthetic spirits or tapping into literal spirits. Regardless, I mean, it's a synthetic conjuring of spirits. So I'm going to jump down with 8. Verse 8 here in the book of Ecclesiastes. Understand this thing. In verse 8. All things are full of labor. Man cannot utter it. Right? So we don't understand everything that's going on. All right? The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. All right? So even just because you see something, that doesn't mean you understand it completely. Just because you hear something, that doesn't mean you understand it fully. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. There's no new thing under the sun. All right? You think, oh, well, these robot servants and companions and the AI generation tool, that's new. This form of it, the names that we have for it are new. But as far as like conjuring something non-human to do remedial tasks for you, that's not new. All right? I don't know if y'all remember the old movie Fantasia, that you had Mickey Mouse with his little wizard hat on doing the chores, and then he put spells using spirits to do the chores for him. He put spells on the broom and on the dishes and whatnot, getting them to do the chores for him. All right, that obviously Disney is trying to make light of, witchcraft and magic, but that stuff was real. People, especially in the Middle Ages, they dove all into that kind of witchcraft stuff, trying to figure out how to use that And you go back to the scriptures, you can talk about the magicians in ancient Egypt. We're doing a lot of the same miracles that Moses was doing. It's just that God's magic is more powerful because it's not magic. He controls the spiritual world. All right? Is there anything whereof it may be said, this is new? Can you say of anything, this is new? Not really. This is not new. It hath been already of old time, which was before us. All right? There is no remembrance of former things. People forget what this actually is. They think this is a new thing. But this is actually the conjuring of spirits. People forget about how people used to do that. They say, oh, none of that was real. This right here, this AI, now, this AI, that's real. Neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after, right? Because once we get to the kingdom, the kids that are born in the kingdom, we'll have to tell them about how it was over here. They won't know. They're like, really? It was like that? All right. So from there, this is all just the conjuring of spirits, man. That's all this is. It's witchcraft. It's enchantments. That's what it is. In Isaiah 47, because we talked about Babylon earlier, right? Talk about Babylon. Here in Isaiah 47, it talks about Babylon as well, the daughter of Babylon. Isaiah 47 and verse 1 says, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne. O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. All right. So it goes on to say, take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the waters. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. Right? All the wickedness, all the evil that these people have done. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. Understand, when Christ comes back, he's not going to be born as a physical person again. He's done that already. All right? He achieved godhood from that. He ascended from that. He defeated death. Right? So when he comes back, he's not going to meet them as a man. He's going to meet them as God. All right? As for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name. All right? The Holy One of Israel. All right? He's going to come as the Redeemer. He's going to come as the Lord. All right? With his armies. That's what the Lord of hosts means. The God of armies. All right? So I come to this chapter to jump down to verse 9. Because Isaiah 47 and Revelation 18, they go together, right? They're a pair. They go hand in hand. Isaiah 47 verse 9. But these two things shall come to thee in one moment, come to thee in a moment in one day, right? It's a specific moment. Not even just because we read in Revelation 18 that it's going to be on one day, right? So it's not going to be prolonged. The fall of America is going to be all of a sudden, right? And we see it's going to be in a sudden moment. It's not going to be, oh, you get a nuke here and then in 10 years you get another nuke. No. In a few months you get another. No. All in one day. Just all of them just coming over here, destroying this country. The loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries. All right? All this scientific achievement, scientific advancement, it's sorceries. That's what it is. All right? And like when I work, I'm not going to tell you where I work or necessarily even what I do, but I'm kind of program adjacent, right? Like I don't know how to code or write programs, but I do see programs and code and things like that. So the language that is used with these codes and with these programs, it's always like the language that's used, or at least that I have seen. It's not always like this, but this is some of the language that's used. It's such and such slave, right? So like, why are you using those terms? I mean, you could always say like the Edomites who wrote the code was racist or whatever. Yeah, sure. But that's kind of just, what's the word? Dismissing it. That's kind of just dismissing it. You wouldn't use a program word like slave unless you were binding something, all right? Unless you were forcing something to do something. If it's a code you're writing, why are you forcing it to do anything? How? And why would you have to, right? So like these are the things that once you see this code and once you learn about code, you're like, well, wait a minute, why is it like this? All right? But they are teaching younger kids to code and things like that, but it's still, a bit secretive, right? It's still a bit of a gatekeeping aspect to it. But it's all sorcery. That's really what it is. It's the synthetic conjuring of spirits is what it is when it comes to this AI stuff. All right, when it comes to code in general. All right. And for the great abundance of thine enchantments. All right, it's enchantments. All right, so I'm going to jump down to verse 12. The Lord says, stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. So that's what God's mocking him. He's saying, like, okay, see if your sorceries can stop this judgment that's coming to you. See if your AI is going to help you. And see, the funny thing is, it's going to be the exact opposite. What they don't realize, because they're playing with spirits, they're playing with things that they don't understand. All spirits listen to God because he is the father of spirits. All right? Where's that at? The father of all spirits. I think it's in Numbers 27. I could be mistaken, but y'all forgive me. I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here, so y'all just bear with me. In Numbers 27, I think it says he's the father of all spirits, right? Where is it at? I could be mistaken. Okay, it said he's the God of the spirits of all flesh. That's not necessarily what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the one that says Father of Spirits. Y'all forgive me. But this is Numbers 27 and 16. Let the Lord, the God of the spirits of all flesh, set a man over the congregation. Right? So I knew that this was about putting a man over the congregation, but I knew it said something about spirits. So y'all forgive me. There is something, I believe there's something that says the Father of spirits, the Father of all spirits. Hebrews 10 maybe? I might have to look it up. Y'all bear with me. But the point is, and we see this, that good and evil spirits are controlled by God. All right? It's not, he's the Almighty. Understand that. He uses good and evil spirits to do good and evil things. All right? Because he is the Almighty. All things do obeisance to him, one way or another. And we see that here in 1 Kings 22 with Micaiah talking about what happened in heaven concerning the prophecy of Ahab's death. All right? So let me look this up real quick about the Father of Spirits. I think there's something that says Father of Spirits, maybe in James or Hebrews. Hebrews 12. So I'm gonna deal with that real quick, but we're gonna get this here in 1 Kings 22 as well, because God made all spirits. All right, he uses these spirits to accomplish his purpose, whatever it may be at any given time. All right. Naturally, if you want good things to happen, then you use good things and good angels to make those things happen, right? That's what the Most High does. But if you want destruction and judgment and evil to be brought upon someone, naturally you use evil spirits and evil angels to get that done, all right? And they all do obeisance to him. They're not disobedient to him, right? And Hebrews 12 and 9, this is the one about the Father of Spirits, I think. Yes. Furthermore, if we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us, and we gave them reverence, shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? Right? So he is the Father of spirits. He's the Father of all spirits. All right? In 1 Kings 22, I'm going to get down to the point when he's talking about the council that's in heaven. And he said, "Hear thou therefore the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left." Right? So all the armies in heaven sitting by the Lord, or rather standing by the Lord. And the Lord said, "Who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead?" And one said on this manner, and another said on that manner. And there came forth a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, "I will persuade him." And the Lord said unto him, "Wherewith?" Meaning how? And with what? And he said, "I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets." And he said, "Thou shalt persuade him and prevail also. Go forth and do so." Right? And then he goes on to say in verse 23, the moral of the story, "Now therefore, behold, the Lord hath put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these thy prophets, and the Lord hath spoken evil concerning thee." Right? So verses 19 through 22 may just be a parable or discussing a situation that could have taken place, right? He may just be describing a vivid story to explain the point that he's making in verse 23. Because the whole point of this, Micaiah, the prophet of the Lord, is saying that Ahab's prophets who prophesied to him of good things are lying to him, right? They're not really prophets of the Lord. So to get to that point in verse 23, he told this story from 19 to 22. It could have been what actually happened. It could just be a demonstration. But the point is verse 23. "Now therefore, behold, the Lord hath put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these thy prophets, and the Lord hath spoken evil concerning thee." So even the evil spirits, the Lord uses them and they obey him. All right? Understand that thing. You see this also in the New Testament, in the book of James. And really, in all the Gospels, when Christ would approach someone that had a spirit on them, and then the spirits would do obeisance to him, and he would say, "Leave the person," and they would leave, that also shows you. And that's what James is talking about here in James 2. In James 2, because James, being the brother of the Lord, he saw these things all the time. All right. Where are we at? In verse 19, 2 and 19, he said, "Thou believest there is one God. Thou doest well. The devils also believe." The spirits also believe there is one God. They also believe in God and tremble, meaning they fear him and do what he says. All right. So, understand this. God is using this AI, and he's going to use it to turn on these people. Y'all ever seen Terminator, the movie Terminator? Where they started developing this AI, and then they got to the point where it turned on them, set all the nukes against each other. They already know how it's going to turn out, but they don't care. They're just going to keep, they think they're more, they think they're smarter, they think they're more powerful, whatever the case may be. They think they can overcome God. That's the pride of the devil, all right? And I don't even necessarily mean the spiritual demon Satan, all right? Because Satan already knows it's washed as well. He works for the Most High too. I'm talking about the evil people running this world, all right? I don't know why I went to Isaiah. I meant to go to Psalms. In Psalms 10, we'll close out here. These evil people, they think that they can just do whatever and get away with it. They think that they can outsmart God, overcome him in battle, whatever the case may be. But they think that they can get away with this, and they're not going to. In Psalms 10, "Why standest thou afar off, O Lord? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined." You see that right there? So The wicked are going to be taken in these devices that they have imagined. All right, these spirits that are running these things, like this AI, is going to turn on them. All right, because ultimately, the spirits that are in these things, the spirits that are being conjured by these people, all those spirits serve the Lord. He is their father. All right, he made them, and they will do obeisance. All right, they can't go against him. All right, so from there, we'll close it out there. Well, actually, I'll jump down to 16, because this is the end result. The Lord is king forever and ever. The heathen are perished out of his land. Lord, thou hast heard the desire of the humble. Thou wilt prepare their heart. Thou wilt cause thine ear to hear, to judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may no more oppress. That's the end result. It's God's kingdom. It's always been said, always been prepared from the foundation of the earth. That's where we're headed. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better, but we're getting there. We are getting there. Lord's will, we're just found worthy to be partakers of it. All right. So from there, I'll go to Matthew 26, close it out. So yeah, y'all beware of this AI stuff, because I'm not a fan of it. I don't use it personally. I try to stay away from it, because I don't want to be dabbling in the witchcraft and the spirits, all that kind of stuff. Man. It's not me. It's not me. Now, there's some aspects there where you can't get away from it, like the computers and phones and things like that. It's naturally built into it, so like you can't really get away from that, unfortunately. In Matthew 26, starting with 6, now when Jesus was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Jesus understood it, he said unto them, why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached to the whole world, there shall also this that this woman have done be told for a memorial of her. So with that, I hope y'all learned something. Hey, y'all don't be celebrating that foolishness next week. All right, y'all do better than that. There's nothing to be celebrated here, other than the Most High, and that He will save us from this place eventually. So with that, I say shalom, happy Sabbath, and let God be magnified.